Hi, I'm Trooper Smacka.
Hi, I'm Trooper Wellman,
Please stay tuned for a behind-the-scenes look at being a state trooper.
and together we can make a difference.
Here we are with another edition of Trooper Talk. We have Trooper Smacka and Trooper Wellman here, and we're very appreciative that they're here.
As you can see, we have a very large state, and a lot of these rural areas, the road can tend to have less shoulder space than you would have in the city here. And on that, you're surrounded by nature, and it's gravel on the side of the road. So if you fail to maintain your travel lane and you run off the road, you run the risk of overturning, especially if you hit a soft shoulder and you're going to furrow in, hit the ditch, and you're going to overturn your vehicle. And it's one of those crashes that we're looking at right here, where it is absolutely critical that you wear a safety or a seatbelt.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. You know, I mean, the thing is that we have accidents that happen all the time where someone's life could be saved. We showed that one. We talked last week, I think, about the Sky Point one, where the person went off the thing and
The truck.
and lived.
Yep.
Right, and so a person can get ejected from a car.
Yes,
Right.
especially when it's rolling over.
Especially when it's
Those
rolling
forces
over.
working against you, you don't stand a chance of staying in your vehicle unless you're seatbelted in.
And so we want to maintain that, right?
And the Sky Point crash you're talking about, that truck rolled multiple times.
Yeah.
And it was actually a diabetic episode,
Yeah.
so he had no chance of even holding on or anything because he's completely out of it. And because of that seatbelt, that saved his life.
Yeah.
You know, when he couldn't.
And that's what's important is that, we always talk about the being impaired and, all these type of bad things. But, we're all human. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, who knows, our brain just shuts off. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so we have to be prepared. And so, sometimes we have horrific crashes. We talked about, last time we showed a road that only had the one lane in the middle. Like, it was just a yellow line.
The yellow solid, yes.
Right.
The
And
fatality.
so, you're like this, and so
No protection.
so that's why we wanted to bring this up, for everyone to be safe.
Yes.
It's very important. All right. So
Yeah.
this one I showed to Trooper Wellman because we have gloves.
Yep. Yeah. You got gloves laying there. You got a lot of contents from inside this vehicle, and it's a telltale sign of a very violent rollover crash where all the contents that were once inside this vehicle are now littered across the side of the roadway. And if you're not seatbelted in, you yourself is going to be littered on the side of the roadway as well.
And so we always talk, I think it was our first or second Trooper talk, third or something, Trooper Wellman, we had the picture of the shoe, right? And so on any of these type of things, we've showed a few different pictures of a shoe, and like you had the picture of the one, remember?
Yeah.
And so, we just want everyone to be safe.
It's
and
not just a
so-
car. There's a human life that was in there.
Yeah. And so sometimes these things are unavoidable because of someone else. They cut in front of you or whatever, and so. That's why, we just want everyone to be safe, especially around, this time of the year. Okay, let's see, we got a video.
Pushing it out of the way.
Whoa,
Yeah.
holy smokes, look at that.
So our cars are equipped with, we call them push bumpers.
Look at that.
Yeah, and it's to possibly get vehicles out of the roadway. If you stall in a roadway or need assistance getting your car out of the way, we can come help, especially for those situations where we have to get your car out of the roadway or we are going to get hit. You're going to get hit. You're going to possibly, get seriously injured or somebody else, right? So that's why our vehicles are equipped with those push bumpers. That probably caused some damage to that patrol car just because it was so much weight, but maybe not.
Right.
We do get trained in them how to push safely and try not to damage vehicles. But it's a great tool that we have on our patrol vehicles. So again, if you're ever stuck in a travel lane and you can't move your vehicle, call Star NHP, call 911 immediately so we can get you out of that roadway. Another resource we use when vehicles are and this is probably from a crash. This is a
Yeah, of
crash
course,
that
of course.
occurred. And so now we're trying to get the roadway cleared up, get that vehicle out of the way so that way we can open the travel lanes and get traffic flowing. But Freeway Service Patrol, FSP, they're here in the Valley. They're a great asset to just a great partnership we have with them. And they have all kinds of resources on their truck and the big push bumpers, and they can tow vehicles as well as help change tires quickly with like drills, and they have gasoline if you're stuck. They can jump your car, things that are much easier for them and quicker for them to do versus us.
Yeah.
And so we work side by side with them to keep our roadways clear. Same thing with debris. If there's debris in the roadway, we can offer them traffic breaks so then Freeway Service Patrol can get out there, maybe sweep it, grab it out of the way.
Yeah.
We are ultimately partners, and we are always so grateful to them because they are amazing and they make our job and our city so much safer and easier. So,
And you know, we always talk about the speed, you know, that unfortunately people drive, but what we don't talk about is, oh, by the way, that if you're chasing them, you're driving as fast or slow. I mean, right? And so you go through specified training to drive your patrol car that speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that people don't do when they buy car X. It doesn't make a difference. That's not made to go that speed, but they think that they're in a race car,
Yes.
right? And so you have specified training, right?
Yes,
Just
we
like
all-
what Trooper Wellman was saying.
Yeah, to drive an emergency vehicle, we all go through what's called EVOC, and that's Emergency Vehicle Operations. And that's where we learn to drive at high rates of speed and do maneuvers like this. And just like Trooper Wellman was saying, this is a maneuver that you can obviously tell the car was overturned in a crash. And it's important to clear the travel lanes as soon as we can, because the longer we have a crash scene set up and lanes closed, we risk additional crashes occurring down the line, residual crashes, as everyone's locking up with their brakes, trying to merge over to the one lane, or if we got a complete closure, you always have those people who are driving too fast, and as all traffic's coming to a stop for something like this, they're locking up their brakes and hitting someone else.
Yeah.
So we're aware of that. So we try to open up the travel lanes as soon as we can. And in a case like this, they're going to clear the roadway rather than waiting for the tow truck to show up and do it. That way it's that much sooner. We can open up those travel lanes and then just have the tow truck lift this car from the side of the road instead of from the travel lane.
And if he pushes him to the right and somebody is now flying up on the shoulder,
Yes.
right? All of a sudden now there's a car that's not moving.
Yes.
And so no shoulder driving, right?
right. Because now you just became part of this crash.
Yeah.
Another crash on top of, our focus was on these two individuals that we were trying to offer help and assistance to and get them on their way. And now you just added to it, as well as probably injured yourself.
Yeah, so no shoulder driving. Oh, look, Johnny has another video. I don't know what that is. It looks like dancing shoes. What is it?
It's an ad.
I don't understand.
It'll show you.
Really?
Mhm. It's simulating lives. And that was a coffin. So it's simulating lives.
Oh.
That
You've
those
seen
are all
this
people.
ad?
Yeah. Is it Officer Traffic Safety that made that ad?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen this particular ad, but
I have seen it before.
it's kind of what
very
you've been
eerie.
talking about, Neil, where on these horrible scenes, when you see a pair of shoes laying out on the
Oh.
roadway,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
representative of a human life.
And people that haven't listened to Trooper Talk and haven't experienced a fatality scene, they have to look at that, and it probably doesn't affect them or impact them as much as it does us because we know exactly what that
understand now.
means.
So the
No,
shoes
well,
are
lines up.
going
It's a
into the
person
coffin.
inside the
Did you
coffin.
see it was a body?
Yeah.
It's shaped like a person.
It's horrible.
Okay, now I understand. So each one of these represents somebody who's not coming home for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, when you see the camera zoom out, it's going to form the shape of a person.
Oh my gosh. How
Yeah.
eerie.
Super eerie, super gut
Yeah,
wrenching.
with the arms.
That's the reality of it.
Don't do anything that you're going to end up with a pair of shoes like that. How about this one?
Oof.
Oh my goodness.
They got lucky for that
So
guardrail.
we I don't know if you saw it, but I saw there was a video this week where there was a car that was stuck underneath the tractor trailer. Did you see that video?
Yeah.
And the person is like out the window, like stop,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they're like underneath right, and so
And that's the thing is those tractor trailers are so big, the driver has no clue.
They don't even feel you. Yeah.
and
A lot of
so
times they get sideswiped and they don't even feel it.
we have to be careful, and obviously these are horrific roadways, you know what I mean, that have
Yes.
and
Slow
so
down.
You can
Nevada
tell.
is a rural place. It's not just here in Las Vegas.
It's very mountainous, steep incline. You don't have very wide shoulders. And if not for this guardrail, that's a long way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't take too much for a car to jump that guardrail
Correct.
if they were going
You'd
at a
already
high
see,
enough rate
yeah.
of speed.
Yeah, it looks like this Jeep Cherokee, I mean, is riding right up on it.
Yeah.
They were very fortunate not to go over.
Yeah, they're lucky it didn't break.
Yeah, horrible. How about this one? Make sure to be an alert driver. Wear your seatbelt and drive sober to save yourself. So, let's talk about the fact that somebody is driving and driving impaired and has kids and a family in the car. Right? Now, not getting into specifics by any means, right? But this is something that happens.
Yes, all too often.
And so when you get into your car, you are responsible for the occupants of your vehicle,
Yes.
right? And so it's very important that people know that they're not only putting their life in danger, for everybody they're driving, but, especially these people that are in their car. Or truck, or
Especially when
whatever
it's
they're driving.
children. I can't speak for all state troopers, but I would say the vast majority of state troopers, if they make a stop on a motor vehicle and determine that the driver is impaired and that car has a child in the car, that driver's now looking at charges of child endangerment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, there's so many ways to get home. You know what I mean? Like if you're going out with your family and you're gonna get a little bit tipsy, have somebody else drive you. I mean, but
If you, even as an adult, when you are a passenger and you get in a car, if you can't look at that driver and say, I trust you with my life, then you shouldn't get in that car. And as a child, most of the time they don't have a say. They're innocent. If you're their parent, they definitely don't have a say because you're going to tell them to get in the car and let's go. And they're just innocent. And that's not fair that they became a victim of that situation. And so it's very selfish and frankly quite disgusting to ever put a child or anybody in that situation.
And so we live in the world that if you see something, say something.
Yes.
Right? And so we've talked about it many times, and we just talked about it again today, that if you see something like that, call Star NHP, call Star 911, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Better to figure out than have a tragedy, right?
I just had a friend the other day tell me that she was at the grocery store Sunday morning, probably like 8 in the morning, and she sees a gentleman in his car slumped over the wheel, populated shopping center, all these people walking by, he's up in the front, and she was a prior medic, so she started assuming something was going on, maybe a medical episode or impairment. She knew some tactics of what to do to safely get this vehicle not to be on the roadway, but so she quickly put the vehicle in park, took the keys out of the ignition, and as she put her head in there, she could smell alcohol. There was alcohol containers everywhere in the car. And she went up to the store manager and gave the manager the keys and said, you need to call the police. Like, don't let him drive. And it's just crazy to me to think that if she wouldn't have done that, he would have just kept driving off. Because as soon as she gave the keys to the manager, this gentleman was so impaired that he got out of his car. He's looking around. He's opening his door. He's looking for his keys because he's so out of it and impaired. And it's just, if she wouldn't have done that, would anybody else have done that? And I'm not telling people to put themselves in those situations because
course.
it's dangerous. But call us. Call 911 immediately. If you see something that doesn't seem right, somebody's driving weird, and you think even for a second they might be impaired, call us, please, because it's better to be safe than sorry, right? It's better to be safe. Let us check them out. Let's see what's going on, and we'll make that decision.
Yeah.
So you don't have to put that on yourself.
I was watching a popular show where they follow police officers that they play on the internet, right? And a new episode, and they pulled somebody over, and this guy got out of the car with like, oh, you know what I mean? And you're like, and
Who's driving?
he had no tire on the back wheel, okay, and the front had no rim.
Yep.
Right, like he was driving like the sport, like they showed video.
Yep. It means he's already ran into something.
Yeah,
and he
like
didn't
totally,
stop.
like.
We see that all the time.
Yeah,
It's wild.
and so if you see something, say something. You know what I'm
Please.
saying?
Please.
Yes. I've made an arrest for DUI on a case just like that, where I thought I was helping a stranded motorist or somebody having mechanical problems on the side of the 15. And this is years ago. I pull up behind him, and it looks like, and I see a guy outside the car, and it looks like he's trying to change a tire. So I walk out, see if I can assist him, and I'm looking at him trying to change this tire. And the problem is it's not, isn't that the tire is necessarily flat. The problem is it's just hanging from the car by a little thread. As he's trying to like loosen the lug nuts, the whole tire's moving because it's just hanging there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the car, and I can see all kinds of damage along the side of the car. And then I look down at him, and I see he's got all the little bracelets from being at several different nightclubs and stuff. And, then you start doing your investigation, start
Yeah, of
talking to
course.
him, and come to find out, another call comes out for a hit and run, and this is the car they're describing as a fleeing vehicle, and here I'm out with it, and the guy's sitting there trying to change this tire that the whole wheel's coming off. The tire's not the problem. And he ended up going to jail and sleeping it off.
And so that was we'll get to the next picture, but that was the last campaign, right? If you need a ride, we're going to give it to you, but it's going to be in our car, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Check your speed or pay the price. Now, we don't have to go into specifics. We've talked, if you get a DUI or whatever, it's in the many thousands of dollars by the time you go through tickets and citations and all that type of stuff. But one of the things that we don't really talk about is that when you drive your car, if you get so many demerit points,
Yes.
you are not driving anymore.
No, you can lose your license.
And so I think in Boulder City, there was a car that got pulled over for like 130 or whatever.
Yeah, the
right?
rental sports car.
And it was 8 demerit points. Right? And so, I remember I looked up on the thing and I go, well, what
Reckless
does that,
driving
what
is
does
gonna-
that really mean? And all of a sudden it's like, this class and that class and your insurance, is 4 times the amount.
That's
and-
what I was going to say. Your insurance is going to go
Right.
up like
A reckless
whoa.
driving ticket is very expensive, regardless of what your fine is with the court. Everything allotted
Right.
with it, yeah.
And so the thing is that, when you're driving, and you're going that speed, and they get you, that's the end of the game. And so one of the things that we always recommend is that the speed limit is there for the reason.
Yes.
And that's what the highway board or whatever has deemed that is the speed for the road,
Correct.
right? And
Yes.
so,
that you could safely operate your vehicle.
excuse me, right, that you can safely operate your vehicle.
But it still, in hindsight, will be a lot less expensive than if you kill somebody driving reckless, and you end up facing jail time for a manslaughter charge or something along those lines. 'Cause that's what you will be looking at if you are driving with disregard for other people's safety and you cause substantial bodily harm or death. It's going to be a lot worse than that, what she's looking at in that speeding ticket.
And we've had a lot of different things over the past couple months where people have been driving at high rates of speed and things of that nature, and talking in just generalized terms. And so, don't put yourself at risk, don't put your passengers at risk, and, it's not worth it.
Right.
Right? All right, let's go to this one. Zooming is for meetings, not for our roads. 0 fatalities. Well, this is again, and I saw that they're trying to change the laws for the exotic rentals and stuff like this.
Yes.
Are they?
You know what I mean? To try to do it. But I always come back to, you can go rent a regular car and do 130 miles an hour down the freeway, So
Yes.
it doesn't matter that it's just for the fancy cars or not. People might drive them more in that fashion because they're supposed to. But at the end of the day, we can't be distracted. And distracted driving is not good at any speed.
Especially those luxury cars, they're meant for speed, right? And so they drive smoother, so you don't even realize you're traveling at speeds that high. So you have to be aware of the speed you're traveling and be cautious of it, because it's going to get away from you if you're just driving those exotic cars, as well as just new luxury cars. They drive smoother. It's no excuse. If you're getting behind the wheel, you got to be responsible, right? So just be aware of your speed.
Yeah,
So
just
is
be
it-
aware of the speed and know the speed limits.
Real quick, since you're on this
Yeah, tell me.
slide, 0 fatalities. If you go on their social media,
Yeah,
any
right
of
now.
their handles, through all the holidays, they had one for Thanksgiving. They're going to have one for Christmas as well as New Year's Eve. We will be posting it on our social media as well, but it's ultimately on the 0 fatalities website, or their Facebook page or Instagram, and they post codes for Lyft. They've partnered up with Lyft. Officer Traffic Safety did. And they give you for one for one ride, you get $10 off. So it's a free $10 voucher for you to use, so that you can get to your destination or possibly home from your destination safely. So, we can't give it to you for free, but we're trying, right? They're trying efforts to partner up with other entities here in the valley, just so that people make the right, smart decisions. So again, if you go on 0 fatalities,
okay.
you'll see the code. It's something Santa. I just don't know it off the top of my head at the moment.
We'll find that.
Yeah, and
we'll
then
make-
we'll have it
make
on
sure that
ours
we
as
put
well.
it. It'll be like right here. Like,
So
here
we'll-
it is, right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little extra incentive
Yeah.
to use a ride share.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of 0 fatalities, we had Sandy Haverly on, and so that was really fantastic. Not from 0 fatalities, but from the Stop DUI, and so
Yeah.
it was along the same premise as this.
It's all
And
the
so
same goal.
We'll make sure that that's put on the screen, and that they check the Twitter page and stuff like that to make sure that they continuously get the new code. Yep. Whoa. Vehicle Winter Weather Survival Kit. So this is a whole kit. Johnny will put it on the, so everybody can really read it. The thing that, we want to say is this, that, check the weather before you go on a trip.
Yes.
Right, that there's sometimes there's rain, sometimes there's snow. I heard has been snow in Colorado yet. It's never happened
I
ever.
was going to say, here in Las Vegas,
Yeah,
we've been still having the highs of 70s. You wouldn't know it was
It's
winter.
toasty.
But at the end of the day, people are still planning trips for the holiday season, and so just a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you'll need a shovel right now in Las Vegas, except if you're doing dirt. But
It's not a bad idea,
It's not a
especially
bad
if
idea.
you're taking a trip up to the mountains.
Right.
Yep.
And so, when you go up to the mountains, sometimes you need the chains and, things like that. So it's really important. We always recommend, the air pressure in the tires and, the checking of the lights and, all that type of stuff.
If you
So-
buy one of those little bags that go, like an emergency bag that goes in your car, I just purchased a new vehicle and it came with a bag. So sometimes some of these new dealerships are coming. It's an incentive that they have it next to the spare tires. They come with a little emergency kit, but you can look online or go to the stores and you can buy one of those little emergency kits and they'll come with a flashlight or a window scraper, or some of them come with, reflective triangles or booster cables, and majority of that stuff is in there, just so that way you always have it, and it's in a nice little bag or
Yeah.
container,
It's
and then you have it.
It's a woman's name. We won't mention it because it's probably under some trademark. But there's a woman's name, and her name is the name of this
Bag kit.
right that has all this stuff in there.
No, but there's some good things
yes,
on here.
Yeah. But it's very important, like you said. You know what I mean? Like to have that type of stuff in case there's an emergency.
Yeah.
And some of this stuff, it could be year round, is a good idea to have water, especially out here in the desert climate. And I was also looking at when we have those long weekends and everyone's trying to get back to California on Sunday, and then you got a lot of congestion, and sometimes people are stuck in traffic for hours. A big one is your necessary medications. especially
Oh,
if you're
okay.
diabetic or something like that.
Yeah.
It might be a while till you can get somewhere, and if your blood sugar is dropping on you, you got to make sure you're prepared for that in case you're nowhere near somewhere where you can get to a gas
right.
station or something.
Right, like I'm not
Gotten that a
diabetic, but
lot.
maybe like my aunt was, and like have like a candy bar, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you're
make
saying,
sure
like
you're
something that is
Think
be
ahead and
prepared.
think about any possible emergency you might have, and it might be a medical emergency with yourself.
right.
Because, for example, like on the IR-15, if there's such a bad crash, which I've experienced this probably at least 3 times, and so he makes a really good point, is when we have to shut that highway down, there's nowhere to go. If there's no turnoff, there's nowhere to go. And if we have to land the air unit, we're shutting everything down on whichever side it is, and that traffic's just going to sit there. One of the challenges we had last year was the ice and the snow. There was no visibility. We had to shut down the whole 15 southbound, including into California, and we were working with CHP, California Highway Patrol, to divert these people. Otherwise, they just sat there because there was no visibility, and people were coming up to us saying, my child needs their insulin, my kids need food, where do we go, can we exit? And they're just like sitting ducks because there's nothing we can do pretty much at this point. So all we can offer is, do you want us to call an ambulance or try to get them off to the nearest ramp? But yes, be prepared because you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I don't know what the distance is, but by the time you leave Las Vegas before you can get to the next gas station or whatever, between like Barstow and you know what I mean? It's not right around the corner. It's not like here. It's like every an exit's every minute.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure from Jean all the way to like the M Casino, so like it'd be St. Rose is between like 15 miles. So
Yeah, so if there's nowhere to go.
right.
Yeah, so that's it. Can you imagine that this is over? Let's finish with the fact that we appreciate you both coming on, and I know that you're both like really busy with doing everything and stuff like that. And I just want you to know that everybody appreciates you and appreciates you coming on. We might have some exciting news for everyone when it comes to the Trooper Talk in the next couple of weeks, starting in January. With what we're doing, and so it's really a testament to what we're doing, because people really appreciate. Not one person has come to me and said, "You've saved my life," but it's there, and so we're over 20 episodes on the Trooper Talk, and we're going strong, and so we look forward to more this year, but also, with a lot of exciting things for next year. So,
Absolutely.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And just be safe. We want you to be back here.
Thank you, Neil. Yeah, it's
Thank
important
you.
to us too. It's a really positive show, and we're anytime we can reach somebody and help them, it's a benefit for all of us.
Well,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad. We feel the same. Okay. We'll say goodbye to everybody. Okay. All right. We'll see you later.